This is Flip TV Morning News Report. The headlines: Tinubu names Mustafa CEO, Energy Commission of Nigeria. Victory for Nigeria as UK court halts enforcement of $11 billion P&Id award. NIDCOM to probe killing of Nigerian medical students. Now the news. President Bola Tinubu on Monday appointed Dr. Abdullahi Mustafa as the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the Energy Commission of Nigeria (ECN). Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale disclosed this in a statement he signed on Monday titled, "President Tinubu appoints new ECN Chief Executive Officer." Until his appointment, Mustafa served for over a decade in the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission with significant experience in the energy and space technology sectors. He most recently obtained his doctorate degree in mechanical engineering with a focus on renewable energy, followed by a postdoctoral fellowship as a research associate in the School of Engineering at the prestigious University of Manchester, England. Tinubu said he expects the new ECN chief executive to make a positive impact on his administration's intensive push to diversify the nation's energy sources in a synergized fashion across the government towards the ultimate aim of industrializing every part of the country, with every citizen emancipated from the shackles of energy poverty. In other news, after over 5 years of legal fireworks, Nigeria has finally succeeded in halting the enforcement of the $11 billion arbitration award in favor of P&Id. In a judgment delivered by email, Robin Knowles, Justice of the Commercial Court of England and Wales, upheld Nigeria's prayer on the ground that the ill-fated gas processing contract was obtained by fraud. After over 5 years of legal fireworks, Nigeria won its bid to overturn an $11 billion damages bill for a collapsed gas processing project it said was procured by a concerted campaign of bribery. The country was on the hook for the sum, representing around a third of its foreign exchange reserve, after a little-known British Virgin Island-based company took Nigeria to arbitration over the deal. Process and Industrial Development (P&ID) was awarded a 20-year contract in 2010 to construct and operate a gas processing plant in southern Nigeria as part of a wider plan to exploit Nigeria's abundant reserves of gas. After the deal collapsed, P&ID took Nigeria to arbitration in London and in 2017 was awarded $6.6 billion for lost profits, a sum which has swelled with interest to over $11 billion, representing 10 times the country's 2019 health budget. However, Nigeria's lawyers said the country was the victim of a campaign of bribery and deception by P&ID, which they say paid bribes to senior officials to obtain the contract and then corrupted the country's lawyers to obtain confidential documents during the arbitration. P&ID denied it procured the contract through bribery or that it corrupted Nigeria's legal team during the arbitration, blaming the failure of the gas deal and the country's arbitration defeat on institutional incompetence. Judge Robin Knowles allowed Nigeria's challenge in a written ruling on Monday, but he added that the arbitration awards were obtained by fraud and the awards were, and the way in which they were procured was contrary to public policy. Reacting, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, said the victory secured by Nigeria in the Process and Industrial Development (P&ID) Limited litigation should serve as a pointer to others who might be nursing or nurturing any plan to swindle the country. Also reacting, President Bola Tinubu said is a win for developing countries.
Handed down a historic judgment in the suit where the Federal Republic of Nigeria, otherwise known as FRN, moved to set aside the arbitral award of $9.6 billion, but which has now, with interest, now come to $11 billion United States dollars, made against Nigeria in 2017 in favor of P&ID for an alleged breach of a gas supply and processing agreement it purportedly entered into with the Ministry of Petroleum Resources to establish a gas processing plant in Calabar for which P&ID never secured any land site. The arbitral award had over the years placed the assets of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and those of its agencies all over the world at the risk of attachment, erosion of foreign reserves, and distortion of monetary, fiscal, and other policies of government, with attendant dire consequences for Nigeria and its people. These emphasized the need for the FRN to vigorously challenge and resist the enforcement of the award by P&ID. The High Court has today ruled that the Federal Republic of Nigeria's challenge to the arbitration award granted against it to an obscure hedge fund-backed BVI shell entity, Process and Industrial Development Limited, in 2017 has been successful. The judgment handed down today found that the award had been obtained by fraud and in a way which was contrary to public policy. In particular, the judge concluded that P&ID obtained the award only by practicing the most severe abuses of arbitral process. It has been a night of long knives indeed. The success marks the culmination of a decade of legal action and is not just a victory for the people of Nigeria, but any similar target of corruption and fraud. In the words of the lead counsel to Nigeria, Mark Owell, KC, for Nigeria, which the court, that is the High Court in England, endorsed, quote, P&ID was exactly the type of entity that was prepared to engage in bribery to achieve its aim, to undermine the administration of justice in Nigeria in the pursuit of riches beyond dreams of avarice. This successful result is a decisive victory for the people of Nigeria, who stood to lose over 11 billion United States dollars for the Nigerian administration, and for the Nigerian administration, which has now reached a milestone in its mission to challenge the scourge of corruption. The judgment also serves as a damning indictment of predatory international investors who should now rightfully be deterred by preying upon Nigeria and other developing nations to satisfy their greed. P&ID and its associates, both Nigeria and the world over, shamelessly attempted to defraud the country and enrich themselves through sharing the Federal Republic of Nigeria's privileged document, fraud, bribery, and corruption on an industrial scale. Those efforts, which took place over many years, have now finally been uncovered for all of us to see. It is imperative to point out that several agents of P&ID made overtures, even as at last week, to the Federal Republic of Nigeria for settlement on this case. However, the resolve of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, not to go hand in gloves with fraudulent counterparties or condone corruption informed the position of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to hold fast to its position not to settle. Indeed, earlier this morning, the President at the opening ceremony of the Nigeria Economic Summit Group reiterated this cardinal position of his administration. History has been made today, as this judgment is no doubt significant in the annals of Nigeria and indeed Africa. This judgment has vindicated the government and should serve as a pointer to others who might be nursing or nurturing the plan to swindle the country. The success recorded was as a result of a close interagency collaboration of the federal government team, comprising of the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation, Federal Ministry of Justice, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, otherwise known as EFCC, the Nigerian Police Force, Central Bank of Nigeria, Ministry of Petroleum Resources, MPR, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Department of State Security Service, DSS, and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, otherwise known as NFIU. There will be further hearing by the United Kingdom Court on the heels of this judgment to determine costs payable by P&ID and others in the matter. Thank you very much.
Finally, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission on Monday said it would investigate the alleged killing of a Nigerian medical student identified as Ikem in the Philippines. Recall that a Nigerian student identified as Ikem was allegedly brutally murdered by a group of Chinese in the Republic of Philippines. An ex-user at Michael Ojuala on Sunday tweeted that the deceased's hands were tied, his mouth covered, and that the late Ikem was beaten to death. The troop called on NIDCOM and the Nigerian Senate, amongst others, to intervene in the matter. And that will be all for now. Thanks for watching Morning News Report on Flip TV. Do what to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more reports as they drop. I am Gladys Aluze. Thanks for watching.